Testing, testing. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Y'all see me? Turn my music off, turn some frequencies on, and let me know if you guys can see me in the chat room. Please pardon me for being tardy. I don't know why when I go live now, it's always a stressful situation. Trying to get the logistics of the videos down. Let me just make sure. Minimize all these screens. I got 1,000 tabs up. Okay. Peace. How y'all doing? What's up? What's up? How y'all doing? Peace and love. Please pardon me for being late. Let me just get all of my logistics here together. This gets more and more stressful as I do these lives because they keep changing the the background of how these videos are set up. So let me just check in with myself. What's up? What's up? Peace and love. How y'all doing? Today is Sunday, December 31st, 2023, the last day of the year. I pray that this message reaches you all in the best of health, spirit, and mind. I'm well. I'm in a mood, a serious mood, but a happy mood, a clear mood, you know. Tell Hassan to put the war down. What does Hassan have to do, and what Hassan have to do with anything that we're talking about today? Please do tell me. And I'm going to caution you guys, as I often do, I'm in a mood today, so please don't poke the bear. Let me just gather my notes here. Who is Hassan, and what are you referring to? Am I still talking, ZaZa? Yeah, I am talking. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Peace, peace. What's up? Hey, Wit. How you doing, Queen? Video is up. Okay. Peace. Yes, pardon me for being tardy. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Sandra. Was good. Mr. Redbird, how are you, sir? Sai, what's good? One universe, peace and love. Yes, last day of year 7. And I know that we're going to have a lot of people that are going to be tuning in, saying that, this isn't the real new year. Why are you celebrating the new year? And as I've said to you guys before, I understand the significance of the actual new year, especially in terms of ancient times, starting in spring. However, tomorrow you will be addressing the world in 2024 consciousness. You will be signing your checks or whatever it is that you date with 2024. And anytime you have billions of people in the world acknowledging something and accepting something as true, it actually is true because consciousness creates reality. And so I'm going to be kind of talking about that throughout the conversation today. The reason why I was late is because I had to go through the slides that I had and take some of them out. There's so much I want to talk about, and I've been wanting to do this video for a couple of weeks now. But to be honest, I'm so checked out when it comes to where the collective conscious is. I'm really checked out, especially when it comes to, our people and the state of awareness, the mindset, the mentality. I'm completely checked out. But I also have a deep responsibility and accountability for these young girls, these young women, these young brothers. And it weighs on me heavily that there is so much clown shit happening in our culture, and how separated we are from source, from the creator, from God. So I said, okay, because I had to even work myself up to do this video today. It's the last day of the year. I'm not going to be talking about a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about today moving forward, not publicly. In my membership channel, Headline News, we talk about trending topics, but this is the time now, especially with the year of the 8 per se, and what that represents, and moving forward into the reality of consciously creating reality. Whether we talk about the 5th dimension, whether we talk about the new earth, the kingdom of God, that is where I am in my mind and in my heart and in my spirit. And that is where all of my content is going to be drawn from. So I had to sit down and pull apart some of the slides that I had, to talk about today in terms of the broader context. I had videos of Sexy Red. I had, her whole little lip gloss line and the insanity of all of that. But even for me, just looking at that stuff, it does something to me, right? And so I can talk about it. And to be honest, this is all stuff I've been talking about for a very long time now. And I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired of talking about the consciousness, the concubine consciousness, the concubine culture, the whole frequency, all of these women in particular. No, I don't only hone on women. I've been holding men responsible for a long time, but I have specifically been focusing on women because I know my power and I know the power of a woman, the mind of a woman, the heart of a woman, representing 2 wombs, her physical womb, which gives life, physical life, and then her mental womb, which is supposed to be giving life through our actions, through our words, through our energetic resonance. But unfortunately, the Delilah frequency is strong. The Cardi B frequency is strong for the 85 percenters. And we have, over the last 3 years, if you're not sitting up straight, if you're not really paying attention to what's happening in the world, if you're not consciously being mindful about fortifying yourself mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and physically, I don't know what to tell you. The days of hand holding are over. And I'm really, the clown culture. I'm trying to watch my language. I know YouTube is probably going to demonetize this video anyway, especially because I'm going to be talking about some things in terms of the medical industry, the scientific industry. And so, our AI is watching me like a hawk. They don't have engineers sitting behind the scenes paying attention to what people are doing online now. Now, artificial intelligence is disseminated within all of the digital realm publicly and otherwise. So I'm going to try to watch what I'm saying, but I think I pulled like 13 or 14 slides out of this presentation today for the sake of time, yes, but just because I recognize myself when I'm watching these things and looking at these things, how it affects me. And I'm not subjecting myself to stupidity anymore for the sake of the greater good. I remember there was people used to post this meme, women in particular, that said, I have to dumb myself down to get people to see where I'm at or to resonate or to understand the point. Well, I've never dumbed myself down. Not ever. That's never been a part of my strategy, and it never will be. But I have energetically at different points in time had to step down, right? And when I say step down, that's not to quantify, anyone as higher or lesser than, but energetically, in order to talk about a lot of the things that are happening in Black culture right now, it's very stressful. And so I can only imagine, for me, who is a conscientious woman of sound mind, body, and spirit, for it to affect me in one day in one type of way. So just imagine the 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15-year-olds that are growing up in the inner city of Oakland, of LA, of Chicago, of Detroit, of Miami, of Brooklyn, of all of the inner city communities in America, let alone the world, who it seems like a lot of you have forgotten about, particularly females. And so it's frustrating for me. So I'm going to start off, just kind of pinpointing. I talked about pharaohs, magicians. I see how Black celebrities have most of the culture locked in a very scarcity, lack-based frequency. I had the videos of Fat Joe. I had the responses of D1. I was going to play those back and forth. I had a back and forth with Fat Joe. He responded to one of my comments. He went into the space of being, oh, we were just lying this whole time. It was never real. It's all for the sake of entertainment, right? And then obviously he's campaigning for a young thug to get out of jail indirectly. And so him and D1 had this back and forth. And I heard him say that he thought D1 was serious until he saw D1 do a video where he was like smiling and kind of like, I need for these people to understand you're not as important as you think you are. Fat Joe and all of the rest of you who think that what's happening in your world, what's happening in your mind, and your sporadic ability to adjust things that are happening, to address things that are happening in the hood and in the collective consciousness every so often, while you're online flaunting your resources and your wealth and your $1 million watches, etc., and handing out turkeys for Christmas and Thanksgiving. Not impressed with any of this shit. So I had to take those videos out, because in the bigger scheme of things, how much do I really care about Fat Joe? Not much. D1, much love, much support. But I really wanted to hone in on the feminine, female, woman aspect of this conversation, because the Delilah frequency is strong. The whole energy is strong. And it's so ironic that I've been getting so much flack over all of this time about addressing these things, and people mocking me and making fun and, et cetera, et cetera. And now here we are. When I was trying to talk about sexual discipline, you guys wanted to talk about sex magic. And sex magic, a part of sex magic is dealing in discipline. Why don't you ever talk about it? I don't understand. So, how y'all doing in the chat room? Let me just check in real quick before I get started, because I'm already on one. And I haven't even really said anything so far. I'm already on one. I had a clip of, I wanted to go into the whole Blue Beam project, referencing the science and the technology and the fact that these people are actually planning a fake alien invasion in the sky. I had some video clips, but I was feeling like I was a little bit too all over the place. So maybe I will do something separate that kind of hones in on that technology and the intention of it. There's a lot of things happening in the world right now. Are you guys paying attention? Because we know you're paying attention to Kanye West and his rants and his sporadic in the world and out of the world. I don't even think that's him anymore. I saw a post on Instagram saying that we owe Kanye West an apology. We don't owe Kanye West shit. And I've been supporting him when he's on point. I support him when he's not. He's going to get put on the map. He's going to get put on the map today with his wife, his handler. I'm not impressed by any of it. And the only reason I'm talking about this is because the culture is so locked into this frequency. That's why I call these people Pharaoh's magicians. So, what's up with you guys in the chat room? Let me just tap in for a minute. I sat down in front of this computer and was just on one for a minute. And I kind of lost my scope of time. I lost my scope of everything. See what's going on with my hair. I see these open borders in danger. The open borders is about getting all of these people who normally would not be in the system, allowing them to come in and getting them digitally identified. We're not paying attention to the real game. This is about keeping the race dichotomy alive. This is about keeping the right-wing protagonists focused on the immigration status, etc. And then, you know, Mexican versus white, white versus black, keeping you locked in the race-based frequency. But what it's really about is getting those people in the digitized system. We're not paying attention to the real game. What's up? What's up? Salute. Richie Rich, what's up? Peace. Peace, Gregory. How you doing? What's up, family? I just want to take a second to collect myself. Concept of goddess, queen, concubine. How long have I been talking about that? When I hear myself talking about these things, I'm bored. I'm bored with all of this shit. I'm bored. So I have to put myself in a certain frame of mind to even come and talk about doing this. It's absolutely contrived. The borders, all of it is being done intentionally, 100%. The eyeball in Las Vegas is I've been talking about that in my headline news, it has millions of LED lights, which are wired with 5G antennas or technology. I believe that they are using that place as well as the concerts, i.e. Beyonce, i.e. Taylor Swift, i.e. I'm writing as I'm talking. What's your boy's name? Astro World, dude. All those people died in that concert. Travis Scott. They are using these concerts as activation centers. The devil is busy. So if you understand what the LED technology is about, including the blue street lamps that are popping up all over the country, you understand that a certain type of technology that can be infiltrated into the body, which is a new operating system, but which is magnetized and which is activated based on being in a close proximity of certain type of frequencies. So when I talk about frequency wars, how long have I been saying that? Much love, Jamal. I appreciate you. Much love, the original one. I appreciate you. Yeah, so, you know, Jay-Z and Meek Mill just passed or were involved with the Reform Alliance and getting some legislature passed in Pennsylvania. I'm looking at my notes because this is stuff that I had to take out in Pennsylvania. But will he say anything about the $1 billion jail that's being built in the Bronx right now? Will Fat Joe say anything about the $1 billion Bronx jail that's being built in New York right now? I don't think so. If you look at YouTube and look at between the podcast culture, and look at the percentage of content that is centered around celebrity culture, if our culture didn't have celebrity culture to talk about, what else would there be? So you talk about, well, I talk about the algorithm creating consciousness. The conscious dudes want to be celebrities. They want to be rappers. The influencers want to be celebrities. They're twerking and talking about spirituality. It's very disrespectful to a real queen, goddess, etc. As I've said many times before, you can be a good woman and not be a queen. And we support you 100% in being a good woman. Being a queen is about being conscientious and mindful about how your mindset and your energy and your actions and your behavior and the activity of your life affects the whole. And then being a goddess is just about striving to embody the God frequency so that everywhere that you move and everywhere that you go, your energetic resonance affects the collective consciousness. And then there's the concubines, which we see professional women and political women striving to be like. We never wanted to be like hoes when I was in my early 20s. It just wasn't a thing. Nobody wanted to be a stripper. That was something you hid. You did it at night in the dark, ladies of the night, so to speak. So, what else was there I wanted to talk about before I get into this? There is a video there at the 2023 Game Awards in Los Angeles. They had it's called the MetaQuest VR. They had a demon portal in the sky. I actually should have left this video in, but I needed to build it up and give it context. You guys have probably seen it. They had a demonic entity coming right out of the sky. It looked like a hole was ripped in the sky, and then this demonic entity came out right in the sky. They're telling you that UFOs and aliens are getting ready to make contact. It's a lot going on. Okay, so let me just make sure I said everything before I get into this presentation, because I know I'm going to go left. I'm going to go all the way left. I hope I have my slides and everything together in order. If I don't, just bear with me, because like I said, I pulled some things out and added some things. When I talk about indulgence versus discipline, I need you guys to understand that our children, our daughters and our sons, I say our because I have a son, but I'm not just talking about my son. Again, the difference between a queen and et cetera, et cetera. I am conscientious and mindful about how Sexy Red and Lotto and Cardi B and Megan the rapper and Nicki Minaj and Beyonce in certain regards, and what's the chick's name? Janelle Monáe, who's just gone full-fledged concubine overnight. And all of these females, I'm aware of how they're affecting your daughters. I'm aware of how they're affecting not just the girls, but the women in our culture. We've created a litany of mindless followers. So as I've been talking about indulgence and discipline all of this time, and I just made a simple list here of the things that the issues in our culture that are directly connected to lack of discipline. And we act like this is a curse word. abortion, sexually transmitted diseases, single parent households. Of course, you guys, whoever it may apply. That's all about the woman's choices. Doesn't have anything to do with the man. Doesn't have anything to do with the collective of men who have failed in their responsibility to magnetize and to promote and to bring forward a strong current of real men and manhood. It doesn't have anything to do with that. Even though in the next breath you'll be telling me that steel sharpens steel, apparently not. Single parent households, the prison industrial complex, how many of our men, of our sons are being fed into that industry? Education or lack thereof, the poverty rate. You can't tell me that the poverty rate in the Black community is not directly tied into our lack of sexual discipline. You just can't. Now, I've been having conversations about, I had a conversation last night with a sister that's from India, talking about, her culture versus our culture and the things that have been, the difference, right? Her growing up in an environment where she had access to her organic culture, to the spiritual concepts that have kind of kept her culture intact, just in spite of poverty. And, there's a lot of savage shit going on in India too, in Africa, as well as all around the world. And the point that I was making, because, we like to say, well, this is what we've been doing in Africa. We did this in Africa. We did this in tribes. We did this in these places. We did this. Yeah, but it's not working. 13-year-old girls shouldn't be marrying 25-year-old men anywhere in the world. I don't care who said it was right. I don't care how long it's been going on. Shit needs to change. This is why the divine feminine is important. We're not waiting for laws to be changed and for scriptures to be written in order to tell us what we innately, divinely, righteously know is true. I'm a walking and breathing scripture. You are too. So if I'm consciously mindful and striving to be in alignment with the mind of God and with the power that's keeping this whole infrastructure and system radiating and resonating, yes, I can take information from the books, but I can also take it from my spirit and speak it to you and mean it, every word. I don't need validation or verification anymore. So it's time for women who are operating in their righteous state of mind. We need to stop waiting for leadership. This is what the age of Aquarius is about. It's coming forward. This is what the new earth is about. It's coming forward. We're producing it. We're building it. What do we want it to look like? We don't need 13-year-olds marrying 25-year-olds. We don't need a plethora of men online making content and podcasts and videos about polygamy when you have yet to establish a righteous, firm relationship with one woman. And then when you look at the dichotomy of what's happening in the world and the number of people who have taken the Jim Jones juice, it matters. The separation is already upon us. You're just not paying attention. So the number of viable sexual partners in 2023 has been drastically reduced. Take it up with God. Argue with the statistics. Argue with the data. Okay? So I was thinking that the other day, a lot of the conscious spiritual content creators playing into the illusion, they just want likes and want to be celebrities. That's a fact. And who would listen if they weren't talking about celebrities? Nobody. Not nobody. I can't say that because you guys listen to my content and I very rarely talk about celebrities, but we're going to talk about it today briefly. So let me pull my screen up real quick. When I have this screen up, I'm not going to be able to see the chat room. So y'all hold me down in the chat. I don't have a moderator, but it's all good because it is what it is. I'm going to share my screen real quick. Let me just make sure you guys can see me. Thank you to everyone. The Cash Apps, I just saw some Cash Apps. Thank you for the super chats. I appreciate you guys. Much love. I started a wait list for my Climbing the Ladder of Yourself series because we did sell out. So if you're interested in being a part of that, the link for that is in my the link for that is in the description. The link for my website is in the description. The link for my Cash App is in the description. And like I said, I appreciate all the love. It weighs heavy on my heart what's happening in the world. It really does. It's a very heavy cross to carry. And then now we're moving into 24. So 4 years strong, I've been trying to warn you. I've been trying to bring these things to your attention. So I can't even sugarcoat it anymore. Another thing that I was going to talk about, Charleston White. So everybody was all up in arms about, oh, he dropped all these jewels in terms of Black people not, paying attention. I saw these clips, 3-4 minute clips everywhere where people are sharing Charleston White like he's saying something profound. Okay, maybe for some of you this is profound, but let me check it out. So I sat down over the course of 2 or 3 days and I went and listened to the full interview with Cam Newton. And it's fascinating to me that you guys would accept this man talking about, us being held accountable, talking about all the stuff that he said that everybody was so, celebratory in terms of, yeah, he's right, he's dropping jewels, et cetera, and completely left out the fact that he went on a whole 10-minute diatribe talking about just being completely disrespectful to women. I'm convinced that our culture really doesn't like women anymore. A lot of these guys are psychologically gay. I don't know if it applies to him. I'm not that tapped in. I do know there's videos of him talking about R-wording Asian women. But the things that he said in that video were just so blatantly disrespectful. How did you guys minimize that for the sake of him saying some shit that's not even really powerful or important? I'm so confused. I'm not impressed by any of this. I'm going to shift gears and we're going to get into a spiritual metaphysics conversation to end this off. Because again, I'm not here. I have to go back into my mental Rolodex and recollect to come back into the insanity of what's happening in our culture to even talk about these things. I'm not here. The separation is already happening. A lot of you have already chosen and you don't even know it. So now what happened after that? He got into a fight in a club setting, live in front of the world. Then he ended up getting arrested. I mean, if you are in opposition of the divine feminine, if you are oppressing women in word, thought, or deed, including women, including you hoes, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I'm trying to be diplomatic here, but it's frustrating. When you just want to live life and be close to God and emulate and embody love and give people hope and bring a message of power and of positivity. And I got to talk about this clown shit. It's frustrating. So the divine feminine is taking all of y'all off the set, not just the celebrities, not just the influencers, but the pimps in the community. I can't wait. It's going to be a beautiful day. The madams in the culture, the females that are helping these men to snatch these girls off the street and put them into sex trafficking. I'm looking forward to all of your downfall, I must admit. Y'all keep thinking God is just about love and light. You should see in the past 4 years how dark this shit can get. Consequences are coming due. So yeah, Diddy, yeah, Weinstein, yeah, Sandusky, yeah, Epstein, also the clown on the block pimping our daughters. The ones playing with hearts and leaving behind single parent households and dancing off into the sunset of your miserable life, the check is getting ready to come due. And I'm not just making this about men. I am speaking directly to all of you low vibrational, lack-based consciousness, women and females as well. You're in the way. Black America, oblivious to the times, indulgence versus discipline, Pharaoh's magician, the roles Black celebrities play in spiritual warfare, science and technology as a weapon, spiritual discernment, disconnecting humanity from the source, and the chosen ones choose themselves. I rearranged my slides, so if anything's out of order here, my membership channel people will tell you that I really am very anal, pause, about the way that I try to put these things together. It's a real thing for me. I take a lot of pride in the way that I come to you and bring information and sources. But when I sat down, I was like, nah, I don't have time for all of this. Let me pull this out. This isn't really that important, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not in the chat room, so in the chat room, you guys, please hold me down. Now, I have to do some housekeeping real quick because I am a magnet for teachers looking for students. At any given time, I have somewhere between 30 to 40, maybe more, maybe less, give or take. Males in particular, who are sitting in the shadows, who interact with me, who are waiting to find something that they can challenge me on, or that they can, you know, sort of pull my coattail on, etc. Right? So I reposted this image or this meme in my story. Black America, we promote hoes, then leave our daughters to become their proteges. This is a fact. I'm gonna just let that breathe for a second. And I said we because I was being nice. I'm not in that number at all. I don't promote hoes. I promote love. I promote righteousness. I promote self-awareness, self-esteem, confidence, striving to be intelligent, striving to be mindful of how your energy and behavior affects the collective consciousness, carrying yourself with grace and respect and dignity. But I just said we because I'm being nice. It's the right thing to do. So here we go with the semantics. This dude has been following me for a long time. He likes to, he's like many teachers looking for students. He's probably watching now, and I don't even think he likes me. That's what's so funny about it. Just like those of you who are tuning in that don't like me, I'll never understand. Light attracts everything. I do understand. It attracts truth and light and abundance and love and righteousness. And then it attracts gnats and flies and mosquitoes and dirt and grime. So he says, now mind you, the intention of what I'm saying, we promote hoes, then leave our daughters to become their proteges. I'm talking about our daughters. I'm talking about the issues that are affecting the collective consciousness and the way that this is affecting the world of women. There's no such thing as a Black American. I'm using this as an example because I want to get the logistics of words and etymology out the way for the teachers looking for students. I'm not new to this. I've been doing this for a long time. I used to debate these things until I understood that it's your vibrational resonance and your energetic signature that matters more than anything. Because a lot of you guys are sitting around calling yourselves Hebrews a la Kanye West and still on some clown shit. So what does that mean to me? Nothing. Yes, I'm talking to you, the person who sent me this message. I'm sure you're watching. I said the people that I'm talking to know exactly what I'm talking about. Low vibrational, unconscious people. Yes, I'm sure they do. You're better than this. Do better, Miss. You're better than this, Miss Ali, right? So let's just get the logistics of the word Black out of the way. I've said this 100 times. I'm going to say it again because somebody's probably saying this in the chat room right now if they haven't already said it. If I refer to, first of all of us didn't come from Africa. All of us weren't always here in America. We're a global people. Dark-skinned people, Black people, melanated people, whatever you're comfortable with, can be found all over the world, and all of them, for the sake of conversation without having to go too deep into the history, I talk about these things in Ancient People. There are dark-skinned, Black-skinned, dark brown-skinned people found in every caveat of the earth. If I call the people in Brazil, oh, now let me not say Brazil, let's say Peru, the ancient people of Peru, who can trace their history back 500,000 years. If I tell them they're from Africa, or the native indigenous people of America who can trace their history back, who say they never came from Africa, who say they didn't cross the Bering Straits. If I look at the ancient indigenous people of Japan and China, which I talked about in Ancient People extensively, who say that they are native to those indigenous lands, and or they came from the Andaman Islands. Maybe they were from the San people of South Africa. Sakanuye no Tamu Ramaro, his family came from North Korea. These are dark-skinned Asian phonetic genotypes. So again, I'm a queen. I'm speaking to the whole, not just you and where you are in your consciousness. I'm not concerned with how you label yourself, or what language you use to represent yourself, or if you're carrying the Black's Law Dictionary in your back pocket at any time, still expecting for these savages to hold true to the laws that they implement to break. Not saying there's no value in that. I'm saying stop playing with me. I'm trying to make a bigger point here. Keeps me sharp, even though you're not really bringing a lot to the table. You do better. So Black America, we promote hoes, then leave our daughters to become their proteges. This is the inception of what we're going to talk about. But the image on the right is really where I'm at. Now, how many people watching this can look at this image and know exactly what it means? I'm very curious. Much love. I appreciate the cash apps. I'm on 10, but it's all love. I promise you. We're gonna bring the goddess energy all the way to the forefront. Tired of playing around. I'm tired of people playing with me. So I'm very curious how many people in the chat room can understand and resonate with the image on the right-hand side. This is where I'm at. This is where I prefer to be. I'm trying to find how can I bring my chat room up and still share my screen. Let me see. I'm going to go to my live. Give me just a second, because I want to see what you guys have going on in the chat room. How can I, okay, here I go. Okay, I can't see it. Oh, I know what to do. Okay, hang on. I'm just gonna pull it up. Pull a video up. I want to see what y'all got going on. I'm bringing it up. YouTube Live. Open in YouTube. Okay, here we go. All right, I just want to see. Okay. Every New Year's Eve, you come with a message that resonates the whole year. Much love. That's right. They don't take nothing serious until it's serious. Yes, the Grimaldi in Europe, 100%, dating back to what, 50,000, 100,000 years, depending on who you ask. Now, the Grimaldi in Europe definitely had African phenotypes. Can I send you a copy of my book? I didn't finish yet, but I'm curious on how you would depict it. Send it to me when you finish. Black people play too much. Facts, Jamal. Absolutely. Okay, somebody said the stream is messing up. Tell me if you guys can see me now. Peace. Assalamu alaikum. Amina. What's good, Queen? Let me know if you guys can see me okay. 2024 big election year. Who should we vote for? Now, Gregory, I know you know me better than that. Tell me if you guys can hear me and see me okay. Okay, Asia said yes. All right, cool. Come on now, Gregory. We gotta step your game up. We gotta step our game up. If you're still actually believing in elections post 2020, I'm not really sure what to say. Who are you gonna vote for? And then who's the electoral college you're gonna vote for? Do I believe in the system? Do you believe in the electoral college? Come on. Let's step it up, Gregory. I know you know me better than that, and I love you. You know what I mean? To just exactly voting. Are we still actually talking about voting? Or who are we gonna hold the people that we voted for in 2020 accountable? Are we going to hold the politicians across the country who voted for this poison, who are implementing all of these different insane, weaponizing sexuality against our children in the schools? Who's holding them accountable? These are people you voted for 2 years ago, 4 years ago. You're responsible for these people. So before we start talking about voting, we need to talk about that. Heads need to roll in my world. Okay, stream is fine now. Wonderful. Man. All right. And I love you, Gregory, but I'm just saying. The image on the right. This is about consciousness creating reality. This is about the variance in the energetic field, in the electromagnetic field, based on what's happening naturally and organically versus what's happening naturally and organically when you are observing and paying attention. This is why I'm not going to be able to come forward and talk about this clown shit publicly moving forward, because I'm putting myself in a mindset and in a vibrational resonance to start creating a new world, the divine new world order. So whatever it is that you're paying attention to is what's actually creating reality. So this is a replica of the double slit experiment, quantum physics. This is why white racism, white supremacy has no place in my presentations. It's relative in third dimensional reality, but in the quantum field, however much you talk about it, however much you focus on it, however much you pay attention to it, is what's actually embodying and empowering it. These are the things that we need to be focused on right now. This is the concept. This is the real true aspect of the law of attraction, which is always working. So when you hear people say, oh, I can't get the law of attraction to work for me. No, it's always working. It's going to attract you to the beautifulness and the bountifulness of life and all the best things that this world has to offer you, or all of the clown shit. This is why they're harnessing and using Black energy in America. Black people in America, they know the prophecy. They know the prophecy. They understand what the continuity of 400 plus years of either the descendants of slaves or those of us who have had to live sleeping next to Satan in this country. Everybody want to point fingers at America now and talk about how America is this. Who do you think is the last man standing? Who do you think is going to actually have the kahunas to stand up against this shit? Respectfully, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. Where's it going to come from? Okay, so double slit experiment on the right. We're going to get into that. But let me just deal with let's build this. Okay, let's build this conversation. I'm fired up. I'm passionate. This is major Scorpio vibes, but y'all know it's all love. I'm actually in a really, really, really good place right now. You see me smiling. I'm in a great place, but I'm also a warrior and a soldier for God. So sometimes these things just have to manifest the way they come out. It's God speaking through me. I hope you can accept it when it's powerful and fiery. Because when I'm soft and glowy and you know what I mean, and in that real strong feminine energy, people like to play with me. We're going to do both today. Okay? According to the Kabbalion, the Hermetic philosophy, which is actually was written by the African scholar Tahuti, it's credited to Greek philosophers because, of course, they tried to steal all of our history and make it their own, which is why I'm so proud of Ancient People. Volume 1. Volume 2 will be coming soon because we're taking all our shit back. Right now, I'm telling you, we're taking all of our shit back. But in the Kabbalion, there are 7 spiritual and universal laws: the principle of mentalism, the principle of correspondence, the principle of vibration, the principle of polarity, the principle of rhythm, and the principle of cause and effect, and the principle of gender. I needed to say this because going back to the previous slide, when we talk about etymology, when we talk about language, you're still in the space of man's law. I respect that. There is a time and a place for those things. I'm in the mindset and the consciousness of universal laws. One does supersede the other. I really need us to understand that. We call ourselves spiritual people. We say we are the people of God. But if you don't understand this concept and understand how your mental and spiritual and vibrational and emotional and physical resonance is affecting the collective consciousness, I don't know what to tell you. So the arguing of semantics in terms of why are you calling yourself a crayon? Let's put that to the side for a second. What's in your head and in your heart? What are you radiating into the ethers? What are you creating through your mind, through the language that you put out in your content? Because you guys are still arguing about the Bible in the Quran. You guys are upset that people are now starting to flock towards Islam. Maybe. I don't know. They're saying that. That could just be some shit artificial intelligence put out into the mainframe to get you guys to think that, so that the energetic infighting, if you will, between Christians and Muslims, which dates back for a very long time now, to keep you focused and locked in that vibrational frequency. But the original Muslims were more tolerant than anybody. They never tried to force the Jews or Judaism or people, I say Jews, but let's put a pin in that, the people who took on Judaism as a religion, because Judaism is the religion. Being Jewish is not a religion. It's not even a race. Now I'm talking about things that could get me censored, but so what? They take it down off YouTube. I'll put it on my website. You guys will be, I'll just send you the link and you can watch it. In their book, The Light Shall Set You Free, Doctors Milanovich and McCain state that there are 12 laws and 21 sub-laws: the law of divine oneness, the law of vibration, the law of action, the law of correspondence, the law of cause and effect, the law of compensation, the law of attraction, the law of perpetual transmutation of energy, the law of relativity, the law of polarity, the law of rhythm, the law of gender. Why am I talking about this? Because where in our culture on a consistent basis are we focused on this? Please tell me. Understanding that God is manifesting in the physical world through you, creating, expanding, building, contemplating, either inspiring or not, either being inspired or not. Where in our culture is the continuity of this? We're still stuck in third dimensional reality. Our arguing about sovereignty. If your mind is not sovereign, you are not sovereign. I don't care what paperwork you have.
That they had a list of every emerging Negro in art, talent, music, and everywhere they found them all over the country, they came to them with an offer of money and brought them into New York and made them part of this cadre of artists that they were building to make money off of. It says that Overly mobile African Americans were at least a generation away from special cultural alienation, the insider as outsider syndrome, of which the contemporary lost generation was well publicized example. But with the decisive infusion of white philanthropy, much of it Jewish, the entrepreneurs of the Harlem Renaissance were able to mount a generation-skipping movement, diverting to its ranks men and women who in their natural course of events would have devoted their extensive energies to teaching, lawyering, doctoring, fixing teeth, and burying. Instead, they became artists, pulled out of medical school, pulled out of law school, and led into the arts versus the sciences, for which we've been accused of avoiding, not knowing that our financing of scientists was diminished, and art and music were, which is just what the fuck we still doing. Jack.
Rest in peace to the beautiful Steve Coakley, who was very instrumental in my foundation of understanding in terms of, the quote unquote elite, if you will. But I wanted to show this video in particular because here we are now at a time when science and the proper understanding and the interest of science and lack thereof is playing a major role in everything going on in the world. So if we had been interested in the science, if we had been interested in the science of the body, the computer and the mainframe of the computer is just a synthetic or inorganic variation of the human brain. We love the computer, the power of the mind, the power of the brain. The fact that, I have some video. I'll show you guys that in just a second. Not in just a second, but in a little bit towards the end. Premonition. This is supposed to be in the later part, but it's fine. A strong feeling that something is about to happen, especially something unpleasant. Intuition, the ability to understand something immediately without the need for conscious reasoning. Imagination, the faculty or action of forming new ideas or images or concepts of external objects not present to the senses. When we talk about putting on the armor of God, this is what we're talking about. Have your spidey senses been tingling post 2020? Is your intuition nudging you and urging you to go in a certain direction, or nudging you and urging you to stay away from, you got a lot of you guys listening to me are locked into these low vibrational relationships. I have clients, I talk to people all the time, people writing me, failure to launch, afraid to move out on your own intuition and to step out on faith, which is where God is, by the way. The power of your imagination, the concept that you can actually think about something and match it with the vibrational resonance and energy, that it actually shows up in the physical realm. This is a fact. I've been doing it my whole entire life. So how then have we gotten locked into this lust-based, lack-based, scarcity-based consciousness where the only thing we're focusing on is racism, white supremacy, or lack thereof in terms of abundance, when God gave you everything? Timeless concepts.
Before we go, I need to know that you're on the level with me. No matter how far this thing goes, I need to know that we're good. Because what just happened here is happening everywhere. We need to get to that bunker Danny told us about, and we need to get there now. What are you talking about? You know something. I think suspicion, but I wanted more information first. All the signs were there, sure, but I scared more. It is crazy. Since we're on the brink of an all-out invasion, this I think we'd actually let something like this happen. I thought we were smarter than that. But what happened? If my primary client works in the defense sector, I spend a lot of time studying the cost-benefit analysis of military campaigns. There was one program in particular that terrified my client the most. A simple three-stage maneuver that could topple a country's government from within. First stage was isolation. Disable their communication and transportation. Make the target as deaf, dumb, and paralyzed as possible, setting them up for the second stage. Synchronized chaos. Terrorize them with covert attacks and misinformation, overwhelming their defense capabilities, leaving their weapon systems vulnerable to extremists in their own military. Without a clear enemy motive, people would start turning on each other. Done successfully, third stage would happen on its own. What's the third stage? Civil war. The program was considered the most cost-effective way to destabilize the country. Because if the target nation was dysfunctional enough, it would, in essence, do the work for you. Whoever started this wants us to finish it.
Now, of course, after a couple of days after this came out, the whole situation with the Tesla car recalls, the explosion that happened in New York, the brief power outage. But the point is that Hollywood is Satan's vision board, right? And so going back to the point, and I saw Jamal left a comment about Obama. Obama didn't actually make this movie. This actually was a book that got turned into a movie. They brought Obama in and he gave some input, and he produced the movie, his film studio, quote unquote, if you will. They produced the movie, but he came in and gave some context in terms of the character development, which I would assume is the racial dichotomy. But going back to the other comment in the chat room about the immigrants and bringing all these people from all over the world, which has multiple reasons, but the concept of the people turning on each other. This is why the race dichotomy is so important for them. This is why the whole George Floyd situation and Black Lives Matter and painting Black Lives Matter on streets across the country, which was insulting to say the least. This is why all of those things happened in 2020 and people were wearing masks that said, "I can't breathe," which was the stupidest shit ever, by the way. But this is what the trajectory of keeping people locked in this frequency, because again, consciousness creates reality. So just imagine 100-year, I've said this before, you probably heard me, 100+ year strategy and agenda that's unfolding right in front of our eyes. And then here we are, God's children of the Most High God, to whom it may concern. That's a, somebody said, are we supposed to be able to hear it? You guys didn't hear that? Yeah, you had to have heard it. Only one person said, are we supposed to be able to hear it? If you didn't hear it, let me know. But I know everybody heard it because nobody else has said anything. Maybe it's your sound, Let me know. Did you guys hear that video? It was just playing slow. Okay, anybody else? Were you guys able to hear it? What the hell? We need to leave this board behind. Tell me, did you guys hear it? It went out for me too. I don't, okay, I don't, probably because it's, maybe it's copywritten. Okay, somebody said they could hear it. So, all right. So anyway, okay, 100+ year, we heard the movie scene. Okay, perfect, perfect. 100+ year agenda and strategy taking place. And then here we are children of the Most High God who tap, in this world, but not of this world, and completely checking out of the mainframe and tapping into our intuition and our imagination and blowing this whole shit up. I think it was probably choppy because it's we got the gist of it. All right, cool. So let me keep it moving.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Keeks, and self-help is looking a lot of ways these days, okay? From working out to eating healthy to serving looks, but overall just prioritizing my health, okay? That means I'm doing all the things, okay? Like seeing my doctor and getting this season's updated COVID-19 shot designed to help protect against recent variants. That is why I'm reminding you guys to go and ask your doctor or pharmacist to learn everything you can, okay? I know that COVID-19 may seem like a thing of the past, but it's still out there. So I gotta protect myself as best as I can through vaccinations. What's your why? Ask your doctor or pharmacist to learn more. I'll let you go.
The virus has killed 500,000+ people. The vaccination has not. So you weigh one against the other, or at least I did, and decided to take the risk. We're here at the Methodist Medical Center. We're going to get our shots done, our second one. We've already done the first one. Waited several weeks. We're coming back to get our second one done.
Very clear that long-term side effects are not something to be worried about.
The decision about whether or not it's safe and effective is made by independent bodies, data and safety monitoring boards that don't answer to the government and don't answer to the company.
What do you say to people to help them understand that if they get the vaccine, it's not going to give them the disease?
The distrust in the community is understandable. So you've got to address each and every one of the concerns that they have.
Satan's minions. And I find it so ironic now that he's trending because of the whole Diddy situation and all of that. But we didn't care about this. This wasn't a big deal. They getting ready to pay Keke Palmer. They getting ready to make her an A-list celebrity. That's what, she's signing up for right now. She's viable now that they've broken up her family. She's viable now that there's no man in the household to sort of balance out the energy, and now she can sort of push forward their agenda. I don't know the ins and outs of her relationships with her man, and I don't want to. But I do know that many of men have been driven crazy, and I'm not making excuses for this dude, but I know what I know. Men have feelings. Men are susceptible to, losing their minds under certain types of conditions and pressures, especially when all you're really trying to do is just be a man and take care of your family and look out for your child. Right? So many of men have been driven crazy, Black men in particular, in American culture. I don't know the ins and outs of their relationships, and I don't really care. I'm talking about this because the culture is tapped into this. Black women are cheerleading this insanity. This poor, feeble-minded woman, I'm sure she got paid very well for that ad. Satan is getting ready to expose everyone who is directly and indirectly serving his cause. And he's always coming back for more. You can't just pay him off. Okay, the whole sacrifice element. Okay, one humiliation ritual and it's over. Ask Will Smith. How many humiliation rituals has Will Smith been in over the course of his career? including the first movie, what was it, 7 Degrees of Separation, where he played a gay man. That's when it all started. Pharaoh's magicians.
The virus has killed 500.
Cardi B stole the spotlight for a fashionable milestone. The 31-year-old rapper made her runway debut in Los Angeles on December 2nd as part of Balenciaga's pre-fall 2024 show. Cardi wore a bright blue fluffy faux fur oversized off-the-shoulder coat with a bodysuit underneath. The Bodak Yellow artist also had some impressive bling on, rocking a diamond chain with the brand's logo around her neck. Saturday's show was a star-studded affair, with A-listers including Kim Kardashian and her sister Kendall Jenner, who sat front row for the show. The 43-year-old Skims mogul, who has been a Balenciaga champion for many years, channeled the brand's edgy vibes as she wore nude lace leggings with a nude high neck top. She accessorized her outfit with black Balenciaga visor sunnies. The famous sisters were also joined by Nicole Kidman, who looked chic in an all-black Balenciaga ensemble, rocking a black double-breasted dress with black tights, heels.
Let me stop this because I don't really care about any of that. The point that I'm putting this, you saw the clip of Sexy Red. Sexy Red, I should just call her Red. In the clip with Kim Kardashian. So they're intentionally building this girl up to make her a superstar, which is the only reason why she's present. But I just have to underscore the fact that this is a Balenciaga fashion show. Did we not forget that less than a year ago, these people got completely, blasted globally in terms of this pedo agenda that they were pushing in their ad campaigns? How soon we forget? Somebody asked a question that I wanted to. ZaZa, could this be the 1979 Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars sacred circuit? Yes, I mean, Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars has been playing out for a long time now. Fluoridated water is just one example. How long has that been going on? For almost 40, 50 years now? But my point is, Balenciaga has been revealed as a very satanic, wicked, evil brand. And now you see these celebrities coming back to the forefront and pushing it again like it never happened. Never talked about it, never exposed it. Kanye West never really talked about this. And you see Cardi B, you see Kim Kardashian, you see Nicole Kidman, you see Lil Red. I ain't gonna call her Sexy Red. Lil Red, Miss Discharge, what is it, Yellow Discharge lip gloss? I mean, how stupid can you be? Concubine culture. Janelle Monáe in her black and white, representing the checkerboard, showing that she's under mind control. This is a recent image of Megan the rapper and Michelle Obama. I mean, in what world of righteousness do females that are, implementing and obviously resonating the concubine frequency on a very high level ever even be in the same room as political officials, let alone the former First Lady of the United States? They don't care about this whole concept of America being the greatest anymore. They don't care about the reputation. They don't care how it looks. They don't care how symbolic it is or not. Remember, there was a point in time when those things mattered. They don't matter anymore because Satan has now come from behind the curtain. They're not hiding it anymore. So Cardi B can interview Joe Biden, and then during 2020, when all of this stuff started really coming to a head, Cardi B and Megan the rapper put out a song called WAP while all of our children were at home holding their phones 24 hours a day, watching soft porn while there was demon time happening in the middle of the night, where strippers could come forward and give you a show for free. This is, let me just keep going. Miss Badu. Nobody can say anything to me about talking about this because I have plenty of content on my YouTube channel. The video where I did where I was defending her when she got all of that backlash years ago. I think it's at 70,000 views at this point, but it was probably 6 or 7 years ago or something like that. Why is she in Berlin at the GQ Awards? And look at her and look at the energy of these images. She's wearing red. Marina Abramovich, who is a very highly placed satanic worshiper, it's not even up for question. She does spirit cooking. You can go online and look at the videos. Why is Erykah Badu in this woman's presence? Pharaoh's magicians. She's compromised. Not to mention the fact that she was on stage with Megan the Rapper twerking on the ground. I mean, the queens don't do the shit the concubines do. That's what I'm trying to enforce and reiterate to the women and the young women who are watching me. If you want respect, there's a certain way you have to carry yourself. If you objectify yourself, you're going to get treated like an object. This is just the game of life. It doesn't just apply to women. If men objectify themselves, if they whore themselves out for money or for clout or for fame, they lose respect. You have to earn respect. You have to maintain respect. So I'm not going to be in the room rubbing elbows with anybody that outright claims to worship the devil or to worship Satan or to has anything to do with anything that's anti-God or anti-love. No, you got to move around, let alone taking pictures and hee-haw-hawing in front of the world. Miss Badu is compromised. Now, you guys can support these people all you want to. You can go back and still talk about, well, she used to talk about $3.06. Okay, I still listen to the music. I still love her. And all of us are worthy of redemption. But she's been compromised. In the image of the frequency of this picture, the way that her face looks, it's very troubling to me. We don't like to hold these people accountable. You guys don't like to hold these people accountable because they're idolaters. You secretly worship them, to whom it may concern. And she actually posted this. And of course, you remember Marina and Abramovich and her whole little dance with Jay-Z, that weird shit. He was going through an initiation and humiliation ritual at that time. I guess we forgot about that since so many of our men in particular are living vicariously through Jay-Z. So he doesn't get held accountable. So going back, and it's still on my Instagram page, if I remember correctly. But I posted and I looked for this Rock Nation and Reform Alliance had a job fair at Madison Square Garden in 2021. All of the flyers have been removed off the internet. Now, I didn't do an in-depth look, but this is something that should have been easy for me to find because the website, I went to the website, the flyer has been taken down. So the flyers are not readily accessible online anymore. Perhaps they've been taken down, but it doesn't matter because I have all this stuff if I ever need it. But the point is, at this event, Madison Square Garden in 2021, this was a mandated CVD-19 shot event for age 12 and up. Jay-Z and Rock Nation and Reform Alliance, the same ones who are passing legislation or getting legislation passed forward now in Pennsylvania and working on it in other cities. Won't say anything about the $1 billion prison being built, jail being built in the Bronx, his neck of the woods. But regardless to the whole Reform Alliance situation, again, Pharaoh's magician. Satan's Pharaoh's magicians. Satan is calling in all favors. So when they make the call, we need you to do an event. Yeah, it's going to be good for people. Yeah, we're going to provide jobs. Maybe we'll sprinkle a little bit of money and influence in the culture. But this is the real game right here. People who come have to take the shot. 12 years old and up. We never held them accountable. We never held any of them accountable. When I was posting about this, I had brothers who were sending me messages like, I wonder why he had to do that. I wonder what the Maybe he didn't post this. Maybe somebody else posted this. I beg your pardon. You guys have made demigods out of these people. That's why they're so successful at influencing the culture and your children.
Just listen to what they're saying.
Mass satanic rituals happening in these concerts. I saw somebody in the comments said being a witch ain't wrong if she's using her magic for good. So I know you were responding somebody else in the yes for the D challenge. Thank you, Tony. I know you're responding to somebody else calling her a witch. Do we really need to get into who Maria Abramovich is? Because I'm not trying to quantify anything she has going on at this point. I think this picture speaks volumes. And these people aren't invested and involved in the culture enough for me to even be like going in the semantics of it. But again, maybe we aren't familiar with who this woman is and what she actually represents. Maybe go to YouTube and look her up. And then ask yourself, would you be seen in an image in any capacity with her? And then would you share it on any of your social media pages? Here you see Beyonce on the left-hand side in front of the all-seeing eye at her event at the event in Dubai, and Black people were celebrating the fact that she got paid $24 million for this experience. It's fascinating. I still think God uses all of them in the end. Of course, all things work for the greater good. God is using them. God is using us. The universe arcs towards positivity, right? So which side do you choose? Forget them. Forget how they're being used. Forget how they're being played. Are you down with this? I'm asking the question of you, but I'm making a broader point here, because in the spiritual spaces, there's this concept of, well, you know, light and dark, all of the evil, all of the wickedness that's happening in the world, it's still a part of, you know, the mainframe, if you will. It's all God represented, right? Yeah, it is. But what do you choose? Because there's the neutrality aspect. We came in third dimensional reality to dance. When we leave here, we're going back to pure positive energy, but we came here to dance. I came here to bring love and to bring light into the world, but to also stare down and face down the darkness and the shit that's gone completely wrong. The Titanic is headed for an iceberg. It's not really something we can be neutral about. We have to take a position. We have to take a stand. I do. But yes, it does all work for the greater good. Destroy and rebuild. The destruction is a part of God, 100%. The 99 attributes of Allah, there is a positive aspect, and then there is a destructive aspect, if you will. It's the balance, it's the duality, it's the light and the dark dancing at all times. Absolutely. Now, will you be ruled by your higher self or your lower self? To sort of to round off the question in the conversation. We got girls in the world that's being sex trafficked and violated and abused in every city across this country. Women being shipped off in the world and being, you know, indentured servants, indentured slavery. Our APE culture is running rampant. Black men are being murdered in the inner cities of our communities. Poverty, suffering, despair. I mean, the situation happening in the Middle East right now. I saw a video of people hanging off of a truck, begging and screaming for food. I can't be neutral to that. I talked about this in my last episode of Headline News, because, you know, we love to campaign for Kanye when he's talking, and I've campaigned for Kanye. This is why I'm in a position to say this. It's my responsibility to say it, because I've campaigned for him, because I saw him fighting for his soul and trying to fight through the mind control and all of the tactics that they've used to manipulate him. I'm not convinced this is him anymore. I've gone down the rabbit hole of cloning. I can't say for sure that I know. I'm not gonna, you know, I need strong proof for me to actually like tie myself to something. So I can't say whether that's the case in this situation or not, but whether they have reproduced him or whether he's just under an extreme level of MK Ultra. This imagery and this behavior that he has been representing as of late is not representative of God. It's a fact. So now he's the Zionist antagonist, clearly. So he's using symbolism that looks similar to the Zionist, not Zionist, trying to watch what I'm saying. Nazi Germany. So this image, the federal coat of arms from Germany. This other image is a German eagle patch. The one on the right is the imperial coat of arms, the Empire of Austria. And I'm showing these because I see people online that are constantly trying to justify this dude's behavior, like he's sending some sort of deeper message through his imagery. Okay, well, why didn't he choose the Moorish coat of arms to represent something righteous? Because none of this shit represents righteousness. I don't care if it's connected to Nazism or not. None of these people were righteous. So what message are you really trying to prove? Why are you putting out a song talking about having sex with a Jewish female? That's antagonist. This is the controlled opposition 101. Who's ruling this man? Who's running this man? And why, if you love him, are you not willing to talk about the larger scope of what's happening? They've destroyed this man, directly and indirectly. But you only want to cheer for him when he's talking about the original Hebrews or causing some smoke in a certain dynamic. But when you see him broken, abandoned, I have other images of him. There are some very specific images of him walking with like shoulder pads on. I think I did this I've talked about this in Headline News, but I'm pretty sure there's the contents already on my page on YouTube. Who is this? Who is his God? Who is his master? Who is he serving? Because if he's serving them and you are innately and frequency-wise and tied into this madness, then you're serving them indirectly as well. That's how it works. Now, this is the original Nazi symbolism. Just to reiterate the point, these are the lyrics from the song that he just put out, the most recent song. He ain't talking about nothing. He's not saying anything prominent. He went from Donda, which was a masterpiece. He went from Sunday services, which was a beautiful reflection of him fighting for his soul and trying to raise the vibration. And I'm not a Christian, but I can still love and value and appreciate his intention. I'm about Christ consciousness, not about serving or not serving, worshiping any particular prophet. Respectfully, we misunderstood the conversation happening in the scriptures, but I digress. This is the language from the song, and we can't look at this and be like, nah, this is not what we want our culture to represent. This is not what we want Black men to represent right now. Why are you trying to antagonize the Jews? Why aren't you trying to inspire your own people? Why aren't you resonating and radiating the frequency of God? Because if you're not, then we have a problem. The image on the right is from page 145 of Ancient People, just showing some of the Moorish coat of arms. And there's plenty of imagery. There's more than 400 pictures in this book. But I also wanted to show this because the black and white checkerboard and all of this symbology that is represented in the occult and in Masonic symbolism originally ties back to the original people. So it's inverted. They've inverted everything. They took all of our science. They took all of our alchemy. They took all of our spiritual metaphysics concepts and they inverted it. And now they're using it to rule the world. And you, to whom it may concern. Yeah, I saw the apology that he wrote. Now they're saying that he might have used GPT to, I mean, it's just so, but the thing that gets me is how everybody gets so tied up into it. It becomes a trending topic. There's nothing deep about any of this shit. He's not saying anything profound. There's no profound commentary being made in terms of the influencers, in terms of the people on YouTube. You guys are just promoting, you guys are just reporting on the demigods of Satan. The algorithm is creating consciousness. This is why artificial intelligence is so dangerous. Whether he wrote the statement or not, it doesn't matter. They can put it in front of your face long enough that now it's a trending topic. You aren't even paying attention to what's happening right beneath your nose because you think Kanye West is making some sort of powerful, pivotal move by using semi-Nazi symbolism to make what point? There's no point being made. The point is that the demigods can come in and lock you into a frequency and get you focused in any direction at any time they want to. That's the point. Kanye West slammed for selling $200 sock shoes that only come in 3 sizes. Who is this dude on the right? Do you guys really love this man? I'm not convinced. Do you even know how to love somebody that puts their life on the line and sacrifices themselves for the greater good? Because at one point he absolutely has done that. I will absolutely give him that. Even going back to George Bush doesn't care about Black people. That's why they've been harnessing and stifling his energy for so long, because he is powerful, because he is magnetic. And a lot of that ties back to his mother, with all due respect, the queen, once again, who got taken off the set, who he acknowledged got taken off the set for his fame. Ironically, he said this one day, maybe 2 days after I said it in the video. Yeah, God has an algorithm too. Catch up. Who is this on the right-hand side? Who is that? Look at the people enamored and holding their phones. For all you know, that's Joe Blow with a mask on. $200 shoe socks. And there's another, I talked about this in the last episode of Headline News, but there's another slide that I took out of Balenciaga was the first ones to do this. So again, he's still tethered to and connected to and tied to Balenciaga. I believe he's under a mass MK Ultra spell, if it's him, under a mass sex ritual spell, if it's him, which makes a lot of sense why Kim K is all tied into this and their daughter is walking around with sadomasochist masks on. And we don't have any spiritual discernment and awareness to see what we're actually looking at. Because you worship in the demigod, a god besides God. Not even tapped into yourself because you're so tapped into these people. Now, I love you. I'm a Scorpio through and through. I'm loyal. I ride with the people. Even if you get caught out of bounds, if you can come back to the center and bring it back full throttle. But the minute that I see you no longer serve the same God as I serve, not on no religious concepts, not on no I'm a Muslim or you or I'm a Christian or you are this, or I ain't talking about that. This is way beyond religion. And that's why a lot of you guys, going back to the original, talking about if you're not identifying this or, man, we live in a galaxy with one galaxy. Our universe is one galaxy of allegedly 200 billion galaxies. Do you really think that it's all only being governed by one book, your prophet?
quick reminder of the importance of all eligible people growing up. To over 5,000 Walmart and Sam's Club locations. Free vaccinations. One of the reasons very important first and foremost. Our goal is to have all support
I don't know if the sound is not coming through, probably because of what he's talking about, but this is a video of Deion Sanders in 2021 when he was the head coach of Jackson State promoting the Jim Jones juice. And he went around to all of the HBCUs and promoted the Jim Jones juice. Let me know if you guys can hear me, because it makes sense that the sound is messing up when it talks about a specific subject. So let me know if I'm coming through, if I'm clear. Can you hear me? Okay, so the video was of Deion pushing the poison. He went to HBCUs and excuse me. Okay, good. He went to HBCUs. The video was him. Walmart obviously paid him very well. Now, mind you, this is back in 2021, promoting the Jim Jones juice. So I'm not going to play the video on the right because I don't want to do, it's obviously there's something going on when I play these particular videos. The image of him on the right is after getting surgery for having 2 of his toes amputated for blood clots in his legs. Satan is coming to collect directly and indirectly, and actions have consequences. And so I just, and in this whole, over this year where he's gotten all of this, I really like Deion Sanders. I've always liked Deion Sanders. I've always liked his swag. I've liked his bravado. I love the fact that he was a man's man, that he stood up for our people, that he, you know what I mean? His family's got a beautiful family, beautiful relationship with his children. I love all of those things. But this right here, yeah, it can't be looked past. He works for Satan until redemption, until atonement. And all of us are worthy of atonement. I'm not here to judge or pass judgment or point the finger. This life is hard. We all every single day are making choices and having to do things to figure it out and to make our way through. But a lot of us didn't choose the path that a lot of these people chose, and they've been well compensated for it. Now, when are we going to hold him accountable for this? When is this going to be a trending topic? We want to talk about TD Jakes and whether or not he was a top or a bottom with Diddy. I don't even care about that. He's been pushing poison. Somebody in the comments on a comment that I put online said that at his church in Dallas, talking about TD Jakes, at his church in Dallas, the whole parking lot got turned into a makeshift clinic, and they were giving shots by the thousands. But do these people know they are doing the devil's work? You tell me. I know I'm doing God's work without a shadow of a doubt. I knew before, well, it was never an option for me, but I knew I never would have marched my son down and let nobody put that poison in his arms without doing my due diligence, let alone publicly as a person with millions of followers and great influence, actually promoted this without doing my due diligence and my research. So whether they know or not is at this point irrelevant. How could you not? How could they not? Did you promote it? I'm curious. Did you promote it? Did you convince your family members to take it? I'd like to know. And I'm not being combative because, being ignorant is one thing. Okay, maybe he didn't find out until after it messed with his body, right? Now he's got to have surgery. Okay, so at this point, the light should be on in his head, right? So if the light is on in his head and he's accountable and responsible for putting this information and inspiring these athletes, particularly our athletes, if he played a position in inspiring them to take the shot, then he's absolutely accountable and responsible to atoning and making amends for what he did. We're not getting around the accountability context right now. And I, for the life of me, and I'm not honing in on your comment in particular, this is just a broad scope of our culture. For the life of me, I cannot understand why we have such a hard time holding ourselves accountable, especially when there's so much money, when there's so much influence, when there's so much that has been given in your direction. I don't understand this inability to hold ourselves accountable. I don't understand this inability to hold our men accountable. I don't. Now, I'm going to play these videos, but I want to stop and ask you guys, because there's 3 videos on each of these next slides, right? So I'm going to play the video. I'm going to play the first video. I think there's like a 20-second delay. And I want you guys to tell me if you can hear this clearly. And this will tell me a lot if these videos come through clearly, because I want you to actually really be able to hear this. So let me know in the chat as soon as it comes through clear or not.
Did you know that women store all of their sexual partners' DNA in their brains? A woman's previous partners can affect her offspring. This is called non-genetic inheritance, studied by the New University of South Wales. As I've told you before, humans are electromagnetic. When we make love or have sex, we transfer this electromagnetic energy to each other. This is also known as data. This is why it's extremely important to connect and make love with people who have light, high energy. You don't want to be connecting with people who have dark energy, who are sad, who are depressed, because this feeling and negativity will consume you.
Okay, wonderful. Now you see the difference in the subject matters. So that should tell us everything that we need to know. But this is artificial intelligence, by the way. It's happening on the spot. So this is what's so funny and ironic to me, because the quote unquote influencers be sending me. They really do. He said, did you know that a woman stores the DNA in her brain from her sexual partner? Number one. Then he talked about, this comes from a study from the University of Wales. That automatically makes it questionable. Not that it's not legitimate science, but I need more information, right? And then he talked about us being electromagnetic beings. He talked about the transference of energy. He talked about data downloads. He's all over the place, but there's no real depth and substance in anything that he's saying. Now hold that thought, because I'm going to play this other gentleman who really, I think he is the one who started.
According to the Bible,
I think he's the one who actually started this sort of line of reasoning, because I saw this video first, and then I saw several other videos, including the one with this gentleman who didn't actually say anything of substance or depth. Matter of fact, just to be clear, people aren't reading. But let's listen to this guy, and then I'm going to get into I'm going to conceptualize this.
when people have sex, these two become one. Now, when I first read that years ago, I just thought that was a spiritual analogy. Fast forward a few years and you find out something like this exists.
It came from my genetics doctor. She said to me that a woman's partner's DNA can be found in their system for up to decades.
Microchimerism. Every time a woman has sex with a man and he leaves behind a DNA sample, her body retains that sample for decades. And it even comes with certain possible health risk for the woman.
You could have a weakened immune system because your partner had a weak immune system.
Now, we can come up with a whole list of the negative implications of this, but consider this one very common scenario. Typical attractive young woman gets a lot of attention, starts having sex in high school, and continues to find herself throughout her 20s. She hits the wall around 28, goes on a healing journey, and she finds God. Now she's 30, 31, she's healed. She's ready to settle down if you're ready to step up. So you step up and wife her up, start popping out kids. Now, I don't think this part's actually been proven, but it stands to reason that if her DNA is commingled with the DNA of 50 other men, as a man, are those children ever fully your children?
God help me. God help me. Oh my God. Let me just drink some water and collect myself. Oh my God. This is why it's important for women to be in science and technology. Not just any women. Women that are actually thinkers, women that actually understand science, women that actually understand chemistry, that understand the anatomy and how the body works. God, please give me strength. Only talking without sources. Thank you. Nowadays with the internet, people, and I take my shit serious. I take my research serious. I take my studying. I take it serious. I take science serious. It's not a joke to just be making videos and going online and just saying shit that you can't prove. And you notice he said, now I can't prove this. But if a woman is 17 and promiscuous, and then all of a sudden 20, when she's 28, she finds God and she cleans her body up and all of a sudden she becomes this and this. Is it possible that when she has the child, her child's DNA is going to have that of the father as well as 50 other men? I mean, I feel like I don't belong here. I'm not from here. This place is strange to me. And you know what else? I had like 3 slides where I was really getting into the semantics of this. And I was like, you know what? It's like, when you're talking to a fool and arguing with a fool, nobody can tell from a distance who's who. So let me just collect myself. Breathe, ZaZa. Whew. The continuity of men and your inability, and I'm not painting with a broad brush, because to whom this applies, I know kings, okay? So I'm not talking to them. There's just this subset and this species of males that are going out of their way to blame all of the problems of the world on women. And it's so pathetic. And now it's science and technology. And so I put this little post here. This isn't this guy's words. This is my words. I searched DNA. A person's DNA is the same in every cell. For example, the DNA in a man's blood is the same DNA as the DNA in his skin cells, semen, and saliva. So if we are to take this study from the University of South Wales, who I don't even remember the last time this school was actually quoted for having any significant stance on anything pertaining to science, but I digress. Melanated Enterprises, you said stay on point, ZaZa. Please contextualize that for me. Is that supposed to be meant for inspiration, or is that in order? I need context before I respond. I'll give you a moment. My point is, going back to the point, if this science that they're referencing is true, then that means that every man that a woman has kissed, all of the physical interactions in terms of the sweat aspect, et cetera, would play a significant role in the same context of the DNA that, okay, beautiful. I accept the inspiration then, because I'm 100% on point. Even if I stop and have to collect myself and take a few breaths, I'm here with you. With this science, it opens up a whole other Pandora's box, because this gentleman who's talking, that would mean that all of the men that his mother was ever with prior to his inception are part of his genetic makeup. So in the transgender, well, not the Will the Real Women Stand Up video that I did, where I showed the video of what happens in the womb when the sperm leaves, when the man ejaculates, 200, 300 sperm, maybe 400, depending on his health, his overall health, ejaculates, and let's say 300 million sperm from that process take that route and start swimming upstream. By the time the sperm gets to the fallopian tube, only between 1 and 5 sperm out of 300 million actually make it to the fallopian tubes. This is a fact. Once those sperm make it to the fallopian tubes, the woman's body starts to, before it makes it to the fallopian tubes. This is the weeding out process. The woman's body is weeding out the strongest versus the weakest sperm. So if there is, I'm going to say retarded for lack of a better word, if there is, the sperm is not vibrant or fully healthy or fully functional, her body, this is the science of God, respectfully. You want to talk about the University of Wales, I want to talk about the science of God, the anatomy of the woman's body. This is why women need to be in science. This is why I'm always studying, because this shit can't happen on my watch, especially when it starts to trend. Now it's really a problem, because the NPCs are very susceptible. So if the woman's womb is filtering out the DNA, the weakest sperm, and by the time it gets to the fallopian tube, only between 1 and 5 out of 300 million sperm can actually make it to the trek, and then 1, maybe 2, maybe 3, depending if it's just 1 sperm that connects with the egg, or if it's 3, if it's triplets, or it's a duplex. Like, how silly do you think God is? Silly, maybe that isn't the word. How the whole system is so organized and strategic. Do you really think that there was a caveat that was left? Like, yeah, and the deeper aspect of this, right? I think I have the video. I'm pretty sure I have the other video, but I've shown this video of, because see, we only want to talk about the penetration, because we want to talk about the penetration, and we want to talk about the semen, because that keeps it about gender, that keeps it about women being safe, women being sexually disciplined, women not being promiscuous, right? All the responsibility is on the woman, right? So this is why these type of videos trend, right? But the real science and the real, the electromagnetic aspect, which the gentleman in the first video started talking about, and then never actually gave any in-depth analysis. He just said it. I guess he wanted to sound smart. Well, that's not going to work. So the real electromagnetic resonance in terms of downloading energy and frequency means that when you are in an intimate space and setting with another human being who has a vibrational resonance, who is emitting a frequency, maybe a frequency of love, maybe a frequency of balanced energy, maybe a frequency of proper righteous understanding and in alignment with God and in alignment with a higher sense of consciousness, which is going to be established based on how he eats, how he thinks, how he lives, how he breathes. Same thing for the woman. And so these two people have sexual intercourse, and these two vibrations, these two electromagnetic fields come together and download each other's energy. It's not just the woman downloading the energy. You're downloading all of the concubines, all of the copper carrying conscious semi-queens pushing sex magic while eating Popeye's chicken. Yeah, we don't like to talk about men being disciplined. We want to talk about the fact that men can get 100 women pregnant and only one woman can get pregnant by one man. Silly shit. Because we know if a man gets 100 women pregnant, he might have one proper, sustainable, balanced, highly intelligent child, because he's weakening his infrastructure and his internal system every time he emits ejaculation. It's just a fact. The microcosmic orbit on a and the way that energy is implementing the system of the inner system, your vibrational resonance, your chakra system, the lower three chakras in particular, which are radiating and resonating and regulating the sexual energy. I have more to come in just a minute on that. But my point is, stop trying to minimize the importance of you being sexually disciplined. Stop trying to minimize the fact that you can literally drive yourself crazy or become a low vibrational frequency and have a low energetic resonance as a man if you are promiscuous, thereby having that same effect on your 300 million sperm, thereby having that same effect on the 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 sperm that actually make it connected with the egg, thereby influencing the condition of the egg as well as the vibrational resonance of the woman, thereby influencing the electromagnetic field of the embryo, and then the infant, and then the child, and then the adult. I know you don't want to be held accountable. I know you don't want to rise up to the occasion of what it means to actually be God. Welcome to the show. Not the show, the conversation. This gives off very strong, weak vibes. Respectfully. Now let's talk about the science of God.
Look, according to the scholars, the brain of the child is fashioned by the thoughts, desires, and blood of the mother. The brain, she makes brain. She makes brawn. Don't you see why we should be careful how we handle her, brothers? She's making the brain of your future and mine. She's doing this. Now look at this. Mary is called the mother of God. That's not wrong. That's right. Because if David says in the Psalms, ye are all God's children of the Most High God. Proverbs said, a wise child maketh a glad father, but a foolish child is the heaviness of its mother. And then the Bible again said, train up the child in the way it should go. And when it is old, it will not depart from that. Then the trainer and the teacher, the shaper and the molder is you. So what is in you, mother, is what's going to be in your child. And since you make his brain, then what does your brain constantly think about?
Ye are all God's children of the Most High God. Now let's juxtapose that with if a woman is promiscuous at 17 years old and has a bunch of sexual partners, and then she turns 28, and then she turns her life over to God, and now she changes her ways, and now she has a child. Is it possible for that child to have the DNA of 50 other men? Stop playing with me. Stop playing with God. This system is way too calculated and complex, respectfully, but I understand the sentiment. And actually, it is important for us to emphasize the importance of women being sexually disciplined. I've only been doing it for 15 years. It is important. It is critical for a woman to not have all of these bodies, energetic bodies, on her, radiating and resonating within her frequency, because it does affect the quality of her brain and her womb and her immune system and her vibrational countenance, which gives birth. She is the portal from the unseen realm into the seen realm.
Black men are the weakest link. We the weakest link, bro. And niggas ain't gonna want to admit it because it's too shameful, man. You know what I'm saying? We run around here calling ourselves kings and queens and all this other shit. We don't own shit. We ain't trying to build shit. We gonna come together and build together. None of that shit, bro. All we do is promote the destruction of one another, man. That's all we do. You know what I'm saying? By the way of hip hop, by the way of social media, all this other shit. Man, white folks come along and do us any kind of way, bro. They can kill another one of us right in front of us, bro. And we ain't gonna do shit. We ain't gonna do nothing but march, bro. All we gonna do is march. But the moment another one of us, the moment somebody that look just like you, bro, the moment somebody look just like you make a comment on social media that they don't agree with, they ready to come kill you and your whole family, dog. You know what I'm saying? We running around here, we kings and queens of what, nigga? We don't own shit. We won't even save the money and put it in our community so we can build together, bro. You know what I'm saying? But we want to sit up here and be proud. Proud of what, man? You know what I'm saying? You call the white boy, we call you want to, man. When he fell play, guess what that nigga did? He went storm the Capitol. All we gonna do is march. All we gonna do is protest and march and beg somebody to do something for us, man. You know what I'm saying? We gotta stand up for ourselves. Right now, economically, bro, we the weakest link, man. All these basketball players, all these rapping ass niggas, bro, we ain't got no schools, we ain't got no banks, we ain't got no hospitals and nothing, kinfolk. And if you ain't got nothing to bargain with, bro, how can you come to the table?
Why would you speak that type of prophecy over your affairs? Now, some of you guys will resonate with this message the same way some of you guys resonated with the message of Charleston White, because he's pretty much saying the same thing. You guys don't know any kings? You don't know any queens? This is why I know a lot of you guys have an issue with me. You've never read a real queen. You don't know what it looks like. You don't know how to speak and how to handle and how to talk to. I get it. I know some real kings. I would never come before you and paint with a broad black brush and say all black men or anything. You talking about white men storming the Capitol. Really? Was that a power move for you? Did you think that was powerful? Because all of that was a fugazi. So you didn't even see the play. I can't trust you if you didn't see the play, first of all. I can't trust you if you can't be balanced in your assessment and speaking life into Black men at the same time that you're holding them accountable. This is very counterproductive. What you're saying is a prophecy. So again, can we please stop making these people internet famous? Because you guys, whom it may concern, you guys like to hear this shit. You're tethered to the dysfunction. You're tethered to lack-based, scarcity-based consciousness. You get off on this. It gives your life value. I don't understand why. This dude couldn't teach me anything. After hearing this synopsis, I don't want to hear anything else you have to say. Because I understand the power of the tongue and the power of the word. But more important than that, I understand the power of the mind. So while you're sitting around complaining that you don't have hospitals and banks, et cetera, the only thing that it takes to produce those things is to actually change and facilitate the mind and a proper understanding of the mind. Consciousness creates reality, not podcasters. Well, I won't even say, I was going to say not people who are steeped in lack-based consciousness, but yeah, they do too. So you are speaking prophecy into the life of the people who are in alignment with your frequency. That doesn't have anything to do with my son. You can't teach my son shit. I want him to stay clear away from you, because he'll walk away from you feeling like a lost cause. And we don't do that in these spaces. We speak life in our affairs. We speak God over our men. We speak God over our sons. We speak Christ consciousness. And by the way, I want to go back and read a comment. The chain of command is God over Christ, Christ over man, man over woman, and woman over child. Respectfully, no. Not in a reality that's created by consciousness creating reality. Not in a space where what you think and how you feel is determining the circumstances of your life. There is no hierarchy in the spiritual realm. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. I respect where you're coming from, and I understand that dichotomy. I understand that frame of reference. I want to make sure I address this properly. People are afraid to have these type of conversations. It's okay. It's why I'm here. God over Christ. Christ is consciousness. So what does God over Christ mean? Christ is a state of consciousness. Christ is manifesting and rising up to the occasion of your highest possible potential. It's a frequency-based state of affairs. So how or why would God be over Christ when we're talking about consciousness? What is there besides God? Christ over man, man over woman, and woman over child. In my world, man, woman, and child, the epitome of bliss, enlightenment, manifesting your highest and best self is Christ consciousness. There is no chain of command. The chain of command is governed and regulated by truth. Respectfully.
How do you deal with a man that is more sensitive than you?
It gets strange for me in conversations like these when we talk about one party being more.
I'm sorry, guys, I have to pause. Where am I getting that interpretation? Where'd you get yours? I got mine from life. I've studied all of the scriptures. I'm not limited to one. I've studied nature. I've had a son. I've actually conceived from the non-dimensional, non-physical realm into the physical reality. I represent and represented a portal to bring life from the seen into the unseen. I understand that everything in this third dimensional reality is a reflection of the true and living God. God is expressing through the physical realm, having the experience of ZaZaAli, having the experience of you, Rakim, having the experience of everything that is in the physical manifestation. Now, I understand your perspective in terms of the scriptures. I respect that. I don't argue the logistics of religion, but I'm not limited to religion. I know what I know. I've had enough life experience to be able to say what I'm saying and say it emphatically. And if you can respect my position and where I'm at, I can respect yours. And it's all love. Our roles are absolutely unique but different. Never said anything other than that. Absolutely. Just like the role of the sun is different but equally important of the moon. The oceans and the rivers and the lakes, they all play different positions. They're similar, but then different. When you look at the makeup of the human body, which is created of atoms, 7 followed by 21 zeros, and the vibrational countenance and the vibrational resonance is what actually makes you a material being. So on a quantum level, I'm sitting here and you can see me physically, but I'm really just a bunch of atoms, a lot of atoms that are resonating at a specific frequency that is specific to me, my vibrational resonance and countenance. When you understand the complexity of that and the power and the magnificence of that, And the fact that my brain and my mind is actually governing every single cell within my body, and it's giving it instruction without me ever having to tell it to do anything. And that's the microcosm of the macrocosm, which is God, the truest essence of that electromagnetic resonance and radiance that is governing everything from man, woman, and child to nature, to the universe, to the galaxies, to the sun, moon, and stars. Really? Okay.
Sensitive or more soft. And a lot of times that kind of boxes men in, and it's alarming, because if a man can't be sensitive and soft in his relationship, then where can he be? Like I'm like I don't know too many men that don't want to take their guard down with their old lady. Like I don't want to have to come home and protect myself from you. Like do you know what I gotta go through out in the world, and then to have to come home and guard and tiptoe with you because I can't be vulnerable? Like even when we use the word soft, bro, a man being hard all the time will destroy him. Get you a man that gotta be hard all the time and see how he handle you. Bro, a man has to find softness in himself to properly handle those parts of you. Empathy is like a huge quality that's necessary for a healthy partnership. And in order to empathize, one almost has to see oneself. And if a man can't see himself in your emotions, if he can't see himself in your softness, then again, what do you think he's going to do? So when you talk about not wanting a man that's more sensitive than you, that's you falling into training that cuts pieces of a man off. And then you complain about those pieces being missing when he show up at your doorstep.
So, Rakeem, respectfully, it's not a religious thing, it's just facts. Then state your facts. Because I gave a multitude of references in terms of my position. And to be honest, you know, the word term facts really isn't even applicable here, right? Because there's a lot of facts that are embedded in this, but then we're talking about the unseen, and a lot of this can't even be proven. Because I can tell you that the scientists in quantum physics and et cetera, say that the human body is made up of seven followed by 21 zeros of atoms that actually make up the physical body. But can you prove that? No, you can't. So we have a certain level of understanding when it comes to the building blocks of reality. And then we also have a certain understanding in terms of the physical and the representation, but then the unseen and the spiritual realm. I operate in the spiritual realm, my brother. So if you can't place any emphasis or importance on the things that can't be seen, then we can discontinue the conversation respectfully. So I asked you for your facts. Which books are you referencing and quoting? Which teachers are you referencing and quoting? And what exactly did they say? Now we can talk about it. This is what I do. But I'm not going to ever come and provide a position on my platform and not be able to back it up. Please understand. To the gentleman's response, which was so beautiful and so eloquent in his response to the woman who asked about a man who is more sensitive than her. This is very important and critical because, pause. Rakeem says, and to be fair, even on a three-dimensional level, the type of responsibility we have, this is about more than just consciousness. What about the world that men have built? Most empires and constructs. You mean the world that we're looking at right now that has extreme levels of poverty and chaos happening all over the world and suffering all over the world? You mean the world where the majority of women are not safe? The world where RAPE is running rampant, the world where in Black communities, the Black male on male violence aspect is at an all-time high? You mean the world where Africans allowed for Europeans to come in and take over great nations and to be ruled by lesser men? You mean the world where religion, Abrahamic religions have gone around the world and raped and pillaged the indigenous people of the world, and the men never actually did anything to solidify themselves or stand up against it? I'm talking about history now. You know, history is my thing. So let's talk. You talking about the world where the woman is the portal of bringing life from the unseen into the seen realm? What more greater responsibility is there than that? I'll give you a chance to respond. I enjoy these things. Most empires and constructs, which one of those empires hasn't fallen? Babylon is on its way out. Identify one prevalent empire right now in modern times in 2023 that's being run by native, African, or indigenous people that is prominent on the world scene right now. I'll wait. Not to say that it's not coming, because we are absolutely constructing it. And I just told you, I don't tear down Black men. I'm here to speak life. But I'm also here representing science and truth and God. So let's talk about it. Back to the brother's point, I'll give you a second to respond because I got time today. We are mental, spiritual, emotional, and physical beings. So I saw a video where a gentleman, and I'm not going to say his name, said that the problem with Black men is that the problem with Black men is that we're too emotional. Black men are too emotional. And we're in this space now where Black men are operating purely on emotional, and now they're starting to act like too much like women. I beg your pardon. First of all, men and women, I'm writing this down as I'm saying it, are both mental, spiritual, emotional, and physical beings. So that means men, all men, naturally, organically, are emotional beings. Now, that makes you guys feel some type of way because when you think about emotion, you think about weakness. You think about the lower vibrational aspect of the emotions. I have my emotion chart. I took it out. It's in my workbooks. So you can quote from books, but I can't. You see, Rakeem, these type of things those things aren't going to work with me, bro. About to get gully, but I'm not gonna get gully because this is an intellectual conversation. That was almost, I'm not gully, but you know, bro has a certain vibrational resonance, right? So I quoted, did I even quote a book? I don't know, but I quoted a lot of other things. I mean, the Kabbalion talks about the mental gender. It's beyond gender. Your argument is becoming very disingenuous. I think I've said enough. I think I've made my point. I think I've proven my point. I think I've made a solid position on my point, so I'm going to keep going. And I'm glad you responded that way because it just confirms that. So as mental, spiritual, emotional, and physical beings, the highest frequency of all frequencies is love. The highest frequency of all frequencies is love. The issue that we have in terms of our culture in particular, in terms of our men in particular, is that many, if not most of our men have never been properly loved. Maybe by their mothers, maybe in their household dichotomy by their fathers, and maybe eventually in relationships. And we can see that from the ongoing continuity of negative interactions between, or negative relationship experiences that a lot of men now are complaining about. But water seeks its own level. So the idea that, you know, we as men are too emotional, no, you're just not operating in and harnessing in on the right emotions, which is love, which is the highest frequency. But the thing that I take issue with is that this referencing and comparing a man who is in his lower nature, the lower aspects of his emotions, comparing that with women. Because most of the world wars that have taken place have, not most, all of the world wars that have taken place have been, spearheaded by men. It's a fact. And they were done for very emotionally unstable purposes. So this idea that the emotional context is all about women is a fallacy, and it needs to stop. If you're operating in love, it doesn't matter if it's from business, if it's from taking care of your family, if it's from a political perspective, if it's from a social justice perspective, if it's from a health and wellness perspective, if it's from a physical fitness perspective, et cetera, et cetera. There's nothing you can do but win. Somebody said Raheem is a distraction. No, this is important that we have these type of conversations. This is important for women to see women be able to stand up for themselves. Not even stand, I'm not standing up for myself. To be able to stand on truth and to be able to express science and information that's not from a quote unquote emotional place, because that's how we always get pinpointed. Oh, you just speaking from emotion. No, I'm not speaking from emotion. I gave like 10 examples to back my point up, but I have like 50 more. We just don't have time. We're not used to seeing women articulate science and chemistry and biology, et cetera, in an intelligible way. Welcome to the New World Order, the divine New World Order. And I'm still happy to have you here, and I'm glad you engaged me. It's not a distraction. It's important we have these conversations. I'm here for it.
If these are the future mothers of our community, we are doomed.
Now, I don't know whose video this is. I just find this stuff and save it. So it may be the audio didn't come through clear because it didn't sound super clear. But the girl, and first of all, why are people asking these dumbass questions? I'll never understand. This is a thing, to ask somebody a dumb question and then you get a dumb answer and now it's trending. Oh, okay, this is welcome to the land of NPCs. But these are young females. And so emotion versus ego. Do tell, Red Pill. Give me some context. Give me some context on that so I can make sure I respond properly. The girls are. The question is: would you rather have an abusive man, have an abusive man, or a fat man? FAT. Like first of all, the question is so dumb. Somebody saying, "Are you kidding? Tell me if you guys can hear me and see me correct." Because somebody in the comments said offline. It looks like I'm still online, so I don't know what that's about. So just tell me if you guys can hear and see me okay, and you can hear that video that I just played, even though the sound on it was bad. You guys hear me and see me okay? Okay, cool. So in the video, he's saying they're asking the girls, would you rather have an abusive or a fat man? All three of the girls said they would rather have an abusive man, right? Which, whether they said it because of peer pressure, that's not the point. The point is, whoever made this video, the dude at the end, says, if these are supposed to be the future mothers of our children, we're doomed. How did you skip past the mental and spiritual and emotional well-being of these girls into them having children? Because 9 times out of 10, if this is a real video and they did respond that way, that means that they're probably
How do you feel that it's more sensitive than you?
It gets.
I don't know why I did that, but
it gets strange for me in conversations.
And niggas ain't gonna want to admit it because it's too shameful, man. You know what I'm saying? We run around here calling ourselves king.
I don't know why it's doing that. I'm gonna let that pause for a second. The video on the next screen says that the girls are arguing about, the whole abuse. But the thing that got me was why there's no empathy and compassion for our daughters. Shouldn't the first thing in our minds be, why would these girls be attracted to an abusive relationship? Are they being abused? Are they safe? Are they okay? To naturally try to make this this provocative stance, and then this video is trending because somebody sent it to me, about these being the future daughters of our children, is a problem. I do believe that you are very well read, and I've been watching you for years, but most of your perspectives are scientific based, and it may have some accuracy, but science isn't always right. I mean, you know, you hear what you want to hear, because I talked about the unseen, and I talked about the portal, and I talked about the fact that we are spiritual beings. And I'm going to go a step further than that and talk about the fact that only 2% of our reality is actually the physical realm, and 98% of it is the unseen. And I'm a portal. I've brought life into the world. So respectfully, you're picking and choosing the things that you want to concentrate on what I'm saying. We can talk about the science, we can talk about the math, we could talk about the psychology, we could talk about the chemistry, we could talk about all of those things. We don't have time today, but you know what I mean? If you want to tell the story right, respectfully.
Ways to raise your vibration is by, and people will probably not believe this, but eating spicy foods actually help to stimulate the Kundalini energy. The Kundalini energy is your natural sexual power. When you have a lot of sexual energy, you have a lot of sexual magnetic power that also makes you a very powerful, magical being, meaning that you have the strong ability to manifest, that you actually manifest your thought forms faster than other people can. So when people try to down you saying, oh, you know, you're a sexaholic or you're a nympho or you're a freak, like honestly, that's just to make you suppress your sexual energy, and that's what society does, especially people like women, goddesses. Like, it makes us feel bad for having a lot of sexual drive. So if you're a very sexual person and you know that you have like a lot of sexual energy inside of you, that's nothing but magical, magnetic, godly energy. Your ashe is very strong.
Okay, so there's let me play this back again, because I'm trying to write down what she said so that I can address the thing specifically. So let me just run this back.
Ways to raise your vibration is by, and people will probably not believe this, but eating spicy foods actually help to stimulate the Kundalini energy. The Kundalini energy is your natural sexual power. When you have a lot of sexual energy, you have a lot of sexual magnetic power that also makes you a very powerful, magical being, meaning that you have the strong ability to manifest, that you actually manifest your thought forms faster than other people can. So when people try to down you saying, oh, you know, you're a sexaholic or you're a nympho or you're a freak, like honestly, that's just to make you suppress your sexual energy, and that's what society does.
Okay, I got it. Whew, Lord. Let me just take a breath. I don't need to quote any books, believe it or not, by no stretch of the imagination. I'm not illiterate at all to substantiate my statements. I said what I said because it's obvious. Plenty of women. Yeah, I don't even know what your point is anymore. But hopefully we can stay on topic, subject, and move forward, because I'm clear on everything that I'm saying. It can back it up. So this video, first of all, I don't know who this person is that made this sister is. I believe she probably means well. So you don't need to send the video and say, oh, ZaZa called you out. I'm going to say things that I've been saying for a very long time now. Okay, so this is not personal or particular to any one particular person. I'm only addressing the things that are being said in the video. Rakeem says that they don't understand their proper role in the male-female dynamic, but we can respectfully agree to disagree. I support your channel because you are intelligent and I see your fruit words. Wonderful. Moving forward. So, oh God, this is, you know, when I think about the condition of these girls and what's happening in our world and what's happening in our reality, going back to the previous video, understanding that their 11 and 12-year-old girls are being, you know, caught in janitorial rooms and etc., you know, giving head, and the promiscuous nature of our culture right now, and how much lack of sexual discipline is so prominent and prevalent. And that, by the way, is the way that the devil or Satan is ruling, not only our people, but the world. This is why Megan the rapper is in the same room as Michelle Obama. This is why during 2020, demon time and whole sexcapades were happening in the middle of the night. This is why Atlanta is the capital of strip clubs. This is why hip hop music is now being made for the strip club industry, because they are keeping our people locked in a lack-based, low vibrational sexual energy. This is a fact. And I've worked with plenty of men over the course of the past 5-10 years that have reached out to me because I've talked about these things, that have been struggling and suffering from attracting these same type of women that I'm referencing and have been referencing, who are detrimental to their health and well-being. Not to mention unplanned pregnancies, sexually transmitted diseases, abortions, etc., etc. So I'm all about the balance of indulgence and discipline. The Kundalini energy is not only about sexual energy. The Kundalini energy is about the going from the base of the chakras, the bottom aspect, the sexual energy, the base chakras, the bottom 3 chakras, and raising that energy up all the way to the top of the head where the third eye and the crown chakra are. So this is about taking a trip from the lower self or the lower nature to the higher self. Now, that does not mean that sexual energy is the lower nature. It does mean that people are more susceptible to being honed, to being governed or ruled by their lower nature because of the lower chakras. So the sexual energy, like everything else, has a lower nature and a higher nature. Just like the power of the mind, just like the emotional scale, you can go from love and abundance and positivity and happiness to hatred and envy and jealousy. So there is a higher self and a lower self, and a higher nature and a lower nature in everything. If we're talking about sex energy, sex magic, tantra, etc., and we're not talking about the balance of indulgence and discipline and acknowledging the higher self and the lower self, then what are we really talking about? She said people who have strong sexual energy have the ability to manifest best faster than other people. That's not true. It's just not. The power of your vibrational resonance, the power of you to identify something that you desire, whatever it is, and then hold that in your mind's eye, and then align it with the matching or equivalent frequency, is going to determine how quick it comes to you. Now, is sexual energy and sexual connectivity, can that be used as a part of that? Is it used in sex magic? Absolutely. People are manifesting things, manifesting things using that sexual energy all the time. So it's not taking anything away from that. But there's also people who are highly sexualized, tapping into that energy, that are rooted in and stuck in lack-based scarcity consciousness. How many well-adjusted promiscuous women do you know? And the fact that you use the language sexaholic and nympho and freak, why would anybody know anything about your personal business to be placing those sort of labels on you? So now we're talking about behavior and lifestyle that should be private, that's now out in the broader scope of consciousness. So are we talking about low vibrational sexual energy or high vibrational sexual energy? And the probability. Now I can go further into this, but let me just keep it moving. This is a white woman pulling a black dildo out of a wall. Just for fun. This is the world that we live in. This is the world that's being governed and ruled by lower nature sexual energy, where porn is king. These things have to be placed in context in terms of what's actually happening in the world. Peace, Queen T. The problem with her perspective is that when you lack self-awareness and direction, hypersexuality is the gateway to your downfall. You are an open portal for lower entities. Facts. 100%. Well said, Queen. So these are Black women at the slave castle in Cape Coast. And they, the podcasters of the world love to show this type of content. because it just, they like to watch it too. They get off on exposing Black women, so they have to find all of the grimiest, I don't know why that's like that. I think I messed up. They have to find all the grimiest low vibrational women to prove their point about why they don't like women anymore, why no Black women are qualified to have children anymore, right? So this video, and this was the video that I was talking about before, and you guys have seen this, when it comes to the electromagnetic field of the human being, we are all radiating and resonating a certain vibrational resonance. And depending on your constitution in terms of mind, body, and soul, and how connected you are mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and physically, is what's going to establish your electromagnetic field. So there's not a lot of women who are promiscuous, who are radiating strong frequencies and signals of love and light that have a lot of bodies on them. Because now you're taking on the emotional resonance of the men that you are interacting with sexually. It's the same thing for men, though. We don't really talk about it a lot, but it's a fact. That video is supposed to be longer than that, but that's a clip of it. So just to re-emphasize the point, going back to the electromagnetic field, the fact of being a vibrational being, the balance of indulgence and discipline, the higher self and the lower self. If you're in a rage, if you're angry, if you are in a self-pity state of mind, if you think the world is against you, if you think all Black men are dogs, if you think all Black women are, et cetera, you're carrying in that in your vibrational resonance. If you connect with a woman who is of a similar vibrational countenance, what frequency are you magnifying in a sex magic ritual? Because yeah, you can manifest the car that you wanted, but now what's the output in terms of your overall vibrational resonance? And then let's talk about the sperm, the 300 million sperm connecting with the egg and the vibrational impact that has, et cetera, et cetera. We are doing our culture and our women and our daughters in particular a grave disservice, especially when we add goddess to it. That strikes a nerve for me. Because goddess in my world means self-ruled, ruler of self. Fellas, y'all don't need to get upset or start getting in your feelings. When I say self-ruled, I mean of mind, body, and soul. Cognizant of the way that my behavior and my energetic resonance affect the collective consciousness. Radiating love and light in every room that I step into, adding value without ever even having to say a word, or particularly if I do say a word. Self-ruled, queen, being queen meaning being cognizant of the way that your behavior and your language and your activities affect the whole. That's a queen. Good woman, focused on your household, focused on being a good wife, focused on your children, focused on your personal cipher. So there's levels to this. So when we start talking goddess level and we're not talking about indulgence and discipline, I think there's a problem. There's a problem for me. So just going back to the point that I made about the chakras, the energy centers, both of these images are from the Keys to Womanhood workbook. You see the root chakra at the bottom, you see the sacral chakra, the solar plexus, the heart, the throat, the third eye, the crown. This is the energetic upstream, or the energetic equivalent, if you will, of the Kundalini energy. Kundalini energy is about taking the energy from the base root chakra and channeling that energy up all the way into the crown chakra, right? But this is not talking about sexual energy, although sexual energy can play a role. But in order to get to the crown chakra, you have to be mentally and spiritually and emotionally astute and balanced. This is not just about sex. We talk about the Kundalini energy and bringing that energy all the way up to the crown chakra. Sex plays a role in that, can play a role in that, but it doesn't have to play a role in that. We know because some of the greatest enlightened teachers and spiritual gurus or monks are celibate. The image on the right is of the gland system, the pituitary gland, the thyroid gland, the thymus gland, the adrenal glands, the pancreas glands, the ovaries, the thyroid gland, the thymus, the adrenal. Well, this is the man and the woman on the left and the right, pardon me. This is from the Keys to Womanhood workbook. The body's 7 glands are the energy centers responsible for regulating the flow of energy within the various systems of the body. These 7 glands in descending order within the body are as follows. This is what I need to hear women who are talking about sex magic and sexual energy talking about. There is a regulating system, and this system from the ovaries, pancreas, adrenal glands, this is a physical representation. This is the anatomical representation of the energy centers. So you have an energy center that regulates and governs the chi or the prana life force energy within the body. And then you have the physical glands to back it up. These 7 glands, I'm not going to read them because I know I'm probably way over the time that I expected to be. Much love. I appreciate you, brother, for the super chat and all the other super chats. I know I haven't been paying attention, but I'm in a zone. So let me just keep going because I'm almost done. These 7 glands may be visualized as vessels which are attached to one another by a series of tubes. Each vessel or gland is dependent on all others for its supply of liquid energy. Listen carefully to this, because this is, I really need to emphasize this point. And I've said it before, but I've been feeling like I'm speaking to the wind. If the sexual glands are supplied with liquid, this fluid will slowly disperse through the vessels to the remaining 6 vessels. Similarly, if the pancreas were to be drained excessively of its fluid through a leakage of some kind, each of the other vessels would give up a portion of its supply to reestablish an equilibrium within the system. This is similar to the way energy flows within our bodies. A state of weakness or susceptibility to disease arises when one system, or in this case, one gland, is deprived of energy for some reason. Our task becomes then one of not only reestablishing the balanced flow of energy to overcome this weakness, but of also stimulating the flow of energy so that we raise the level of energy within our body to its maximum. What is this saying in simple terms? If you are sexually promiscuous, whether you got 1 partner or 50 partners, if you are women and men, if you are exuding a high level of fluid in terms of the sexual energy, so we're talking about the physical glands now. The rest of the glands in the body, the other 6 glands in the body, will recognize that the sexual glands are low on energy, not energy, on fluid. They will take from the fluid in those glands, which naturally is going to weaken them until they are replenished, I should say. And the replenishing comes from a continuity of healthy lifestyle, which how many of us in our culture are actually striving to that. So those glands will take fluid from themselves and lend them to the sexual glands in order that every aspect of the gland system, this governing system, is at least equalized, at least has an equilibrium. But the same exact thing, it's the same thing, but on a energetic level in terms of the energy centers. So if you are low in terms of your energy in the sacral chakra, maybe you've been through a traumatic sexual experience, which is why a lot of women hold weight and negative energy in their hips and in their womb area. Maybe you are low in the heart chakra because you've never really truly experienced love. Maybe you are low or depleted in the throat chakra because you're always walking around with negative energy and casting spells. Maybe you are low in the third eye chakra because you feel disconnected to source, etc., etc. The rest of the energy centers are going to make up for or to send energy in order to balance out the equation. I'm trying to make things that could be considered complex simple, but this is the science that we have to tap back into. And yes, this is why the breath is critical, especially in terms of the Kundalini energy and raising that energy up around the spiral. This is what the serpent represents. Climbing the ladder of self. I showed this image in a recent video. What was this? I'm almost done, you guys. Thank you for rocking with me. I see the numbers have maintained consistent, and I appreciate you guys, because I know I'm way over the time. What time did I start? I don't even know. I'm way over time, but it's okay. Come back and watch it whenever you can. But this is necessary. I need our daughters to see this. If nobody else sees this, I need our daughters to see this. This is a video of the energetic bodies that surround all of us, right? Let me see. I think I might have put these backwards. Yeah, well, okay, wait. I have my slides a little confused. Okay, no. Okay, maybe I left it off. There's another video. This is a video of this gentleman talking about the spiritual bodies and the what's happening with people who have been tested in terms of the electromagnetic field of the people who have taken the Jim Jones juice. And so this image is representing, and I did a full analysis in one of my spiritual kung fu, I think it was, can't remember. Again, because we're going back to the male-female dichotomy and the regulation of the sexual energy, because God has already intervened. You want to sit around and argue about how many partners a man can have versus a woman. Those are all semantics. At this point, God has already intervened. If you're not sexually disciplined, things are going to be difficult for you moving forward. So the etheric body, right? These think about the electromagnetic field. Remember the video of the energetic resonance in the energetic body, that field of energy radiating a white color, radiating red color, radiating these different colors based on your energetic resonance, which is directly tied to your emotional resonance. This is why it's silly and foolish for our culture to be de-emphasizing the importance of emotions for our men, especially when we consider that we come from uncles and grandfathers and fathers who were completely disconnected emotionally, who all they were taught is that their value was to work and pay bills. And now their sons and their sons' sons are paying the cost because they don't know how to love, because they've never felt love. This is a fact. I've talked to a lot of men. It's a real thing. So the material body, the physical body, the etheric body, the astral body, the sentiment body, etc. There are layers and levels of you as a spiritual being. And the better you are with your breathing, the better you are in your thinking, the more connected you are to source, the more grounded you are, the more rooted you are in who you truly are, the more you seek the balance of indulgence and discipline, the more you seek a connection with something higher than yourself, connection with nature. All of these realms, these spiritual bodies that surround all of us get stronger and more significant. This particular image, there's another image that I maybe I inadvertently deleted it, is referencing the separation that they're finding of people who have taken the shot. And so I've been having a lot of conversations with people that are like, my auntie is not the same. My mother seems different since she took the shot. I listened to a video of a animal whisperer who communicates with animals, who said that their animals were no longer recognizing their owners as their owners because there's something different about them. Now, I'm not saying this for anybody listening to me or be afraid, because if you really truly understand God, then you know that everything can be overcome, but it has to be an intention. It's got to be a goal. You got to tap in with yourself and see, am I standing in my power and in my truest essence, or is something amiss? We look around us, the concept of an NPC. I think this is a wonderful spiritual representation, disconnected from source. I have a video that accompanies this too, so I'm not going to get deep into this, but there's one of the previous videos, I'm pretty sure it was Spiritual Kung Fu, where I went into the whole analysis.
In quantum physics, all possibilities exist.
I'm going to run this back because I didn't mean to start it that quick. I'm almost done, you guys. I think I have a couple more slides.
In quantum physics, all possibilities exist in the present moment. But most people's brains are anticipating the future based on the past, and they're not present. So then it requires training and practicing finding the present moment and beginning to change their habits and their thoughts and their behaviors. Most people don't know this, but there's an invisible field of energy around your body. And when you react to someone or something, you draw from this invisible field and you turn it into chemistry. And the field around your body shrinks. And now you're more matter and less energy. You're more particle and less wave. And most people then, when you are matter trying to change matter, you always try to force the outcome. You try to control the outcome, try to predict the outcome. And people then get competitive, or they hold on, or they manipulate, or they cheat, or they steal, because that's the only way they can get what they want. But the quantum model of reality, when you are truly in the present moment, when a person begins to open their heart, and they can begin to sustain an elevated emotion, they begin to broaden the magnetic field around their body to 9 meters wide. Now they're more energy than.
My bad. That video is like 15 seconds longer. I think I cut it off. But I think the point has been made. Mind and heart synchronicity should be our goal. What is you talk about putting on the armor of God. What is the armor of God? Mind and heart synchronicity. The Kundalini energy and being mindful and conscientious of these energy centers, as well as the physical representations within the body. So the pineal gland requires care. The hypothalamus gland requires care. The sexual glands require care. They require maintenance. The energy centers require care. This is why checking in with yourself consistently. How am I feeling? How am I feeling? How am I feeling? How am I thinking? Am I in the now? Rakim got stuck in he couldn't come to the now because he's in battle mode now. He wants to have a sparring celebration. He wants to have a sparathon with me. He can't even breathe. He can't even grasp the right nowness and the importance and the gravity of what it is that I'm saying. The importance of the now. Mind and heart synchronicity. He said you become more matter when you are energetically dense, when you are struggling, when you are depressed, when you are suffering, you are energetically more dense, heavier. Less energy, meaning the lightness of your energetic bodies. So fasting increases the lightness of the energetic bodies. The breathing regimens and continuous breathing regimens, meditation, being in nature, being present, being around people you love, physical touch. These things make us less dense and lighter energetically. This is the science of God. This is where we have to be focused right now because Satan is on 10. This is why I'm coming to you and talking to you and taking time to put this in context, because I see how our people are being used. Our people, Black people, melanated people are being used to keep the world, not just our people, locked in a low vibrational frequency because they are disconnecting you from source, which is self. So this is the keys to Christ consciousness. So back to the image on the right-hand side. If you're not looking, the natural organic quantum realm is just doing what it does. If you're watching and observing, it's doing exactly what you expect it to do. So if you think there are no good men, guess what? Every dog within a 10-mile vicinity is headed in your direction because it's what you expect. If you think that poverty is specific and predicated to melanated and Black and African people around the world, then guess what? Here's more poverty. It's not personal. If you think that because you come from a family of women who have a certain type of background and a certain type of history, that you're naturally tied to that and tethered to that history and that lineage, and that's going to be your timeline, then guess what? The universe is going to move heaven and earth to make sure that that's the case, that's the situation. I'm telling you these things because it's time for us to take our mind back. It's time for us to step back in our power. It's time for us to come back to the now. This is why I'm not going to be doing a lot of content and talking about this clown shit happening in the culture. I'm getting ready to have to turn my back on it. Respectfully. I'll talk about it in headline news, but I'm in a totally different space in terms of my consciousness and awareness. I'm striving to manifest heaven on earth. And anything and anybody that's not in alignment with that is going to have to move around. Every day of your life, your immune system destroys a cell that would have become cancer if it had lived. Now, okay, let me read this. Stay on track, ZaZa. The 5 things that influence this process are what your skin absorbs, what you ingest, what you breathe, how much you move, and most of all, what you think. So wait a minute. Are you saying that what I think and what you think is affecting the immune system's ability to destroy a cell that would have become cancer? So if I'm thinking negatively, then the cancerous cells increase. And if I'm thinking positive and love, then the cancer cells will be killed off. And they tricked you into wearing masks? And they tricked you into taking shots when this whole powerful, complex ecosystem and infrastructure is happening within you all the time? And you can think yourself into health and well-being? Now let's go back to the video of the guys talking about random junk DNA just sitting in your body and then all of a sudden becoming a part of your lineage. Stop playing with God. And I'm not saying that there's not validity to some aspects of that science, but we just read it. And I know this is true because I've researched this content and have proper context on this. That's why I'm sharing this. What you breathe, how you breathe, and the continuity of your understanding and relationship with breath affects the Kundalini energy, affects the energy systems, affects the chakras, affects the condition of the glands. All 7 glands are affected by your ability or lack thereof to properly breathe. And these are things that okay, let me just stay on point. Measuring the effects of crystals. I'm going to stop here. I'm going to stop here because I've kept you guys long enough. And I think I've made my point. And I'm very grateful for your energy and your time and attention. I said a lot. I'm not going to be doing these type of videos talking about all this. I'm not, when I do content, it's all about raising the love frequency. It's all about bringing harmony into the mind and into the heart and into the spirit and realigning us with source. There was, wait, let me see. I think there was one more that I really wanted to show. See, this is the complexity. When we talk about the Kundalini energy right here on the right? This is the complexity of what's happening in your body right now. And the sexual energy center is one step above survival. So in the animal kingdom is governed by survival and sex, fight or flight. So these are qualities that we share with the beasts of the field, if you will. So when you want to start talking about getting into the God frequency and tapping into the highest possible potential, going back to the idea that people who have strong sexual energy have the ability to manifest faster than everybody else, understanding that the sexual energy is at the base and at the crown chakra at the height is where the real true power center is, taking nothing away from the power of sexual energy. But that really has to be quantified because that takes 2 equally yoked, high vibrational electromagnetic beings coming together and culminating that energy, that lock and that key coming together to synthesize. Now, I'm not talking about manifesting a car or a certain amount of money. I'm talking about connecting to and aligning with God. That's a different level. Takes discipline as well as indulgence. But the Kundalini energy, again, talking about that being, representing sexual energy. No, ma'am. The Kundalini energy represents survival, the characteristics of survival, the characteristics and energy of sex, the characteristics of willpower, the heart chakra, the throat chakra, the third eye chakra, the crown chakra. I think I've made my point. Thank you so much, you guys, for your time and attention. I'm very grateful for it. ZaZaAli.com is my website. My email address is info@ZaZaAli.com. Much love to all of you guys who sent Cash App love offerings. Much love to you guys who sent super chat love offerings. I'm very grateful because this video is not going to be able to monetize. So I come to you and put these presentations together and give you my time and energy and the essence of my being because I understand it is necessary. So I definitely appreciate the love and reciprocity. I will see you beautiful people again very soon. Peace and love.